So I told myself that the guests on my show, I want them to feel like extensions of me. I want them to feel like someone that I see parts of myself in because I love the way I think. I love the way my views on the world. I love how I feel and I love myself. And so I like to invite people on my show that remind me of myself. And my guest today reminds me of me in a way that we participated in industries where we didn't own our sexuality. We had control over it, and we used it in ways that it allowed us to have a better life. It allowed us to express ourselves. It allowed us to maneuver. But the most important parts of them, the most important parts of our sexuality, we did not own. And then our lives came to a point to where we realized that the things that we were doing didn't add up to what we wanted. Our actions did not align with our desires. So we had to go on a journey
Right.
of reevaluating things and how we like show up to reclaim that really important part of our sexuality, which is consent and the power of it and how it moves people. Would you say?
And owning our pleasure, I
There
would
you
say
go.
as well. Like
Yeah.
really like coming back to being in our own sexual power and
Yeah.
owning our pleasure.
Yes, exactly. So, welcome to the Velvet Room. My special guest today is Emilia Lioness. She is a
Sacred
yes,
sensuality coach.
she is a sacred intimacy coach,
Yeah.
sacred sexuality coach.
Intimacy coach is better, yeah, you can say. Well, I mean, either one works,
Whatever
really.
you love. Whatever you love. She is a sacred intimacy coach, and I'm so happy that you're here with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. But you didn't start off as a sacred sexuality coach.
Right.
Your journey brought you here.
Right.
And so the beginning of your journey, I want you to tell us about that, like how you went from there to here. Yeah.
Perfect. I mean, there's no journey that doesn't have its perfect stops.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because sometimes people might think that certain parts of their lives didn't need to happen or that there were mistakes. And when I look back at my journey, maybe there were times that I could have looked at it that way, but I really see so perfectly how everything that I lived had to happen in this way. So where this part of my journey kind of started was back in Barcelona. I was 21 years old and I had just moved there. I was very excited to come to a new country. I'm originally from Sweden. I thought there was going to be warmth and hot Latino boys. But I came there in October and it was cold and I was working for a Swedish company. I was making bare minimum salary. And I was quite struggling there. Like I was struggling to make ends meet. It wasn't quite the life that I had hoped for. And yeah, eventually, one night that I was out in a club, I met with some people that were involved with an escort agency.
Okay.
In the first moment, I just thought that this was a bunch of top models that were out partying and having the time of their lives. But as I became friends with them and started getting to know them better, they started introducing me to their world. And me being where I was at, kind of like constantly feeling like I struggled with money, I was sharing that with them. And they were like, well, did you know that you can go on dates with men and you can get money for that? And I was like, wow, what do these dates entail?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you could just go for dinner, but you could also do more. And in the beginning, I was coming from a very innocent space in my life. I had slept, maybe with 9 guys at the time or something, and was very like, oh, okay, like, what is that?
Yeah.
And but yeah, like I came into this world, and slowly I started opening up to that maybe I am gonna go all the way in this. And after my first client, I think I realized that, wow, it wasn't really that hard. I thought that it was going to be something really hard for me to break into, or something really challenging. And you have to understand that at the time in my life, I was making 800 euros a month.
Yeah.
And when I was told that I was going to make 600 euros for spending 1 hour with a client,
Yeah.
I was like, really?
It's kind of adding up.
Possible?
It's kind of adding up.
And in my mind, it wasn't even about how much money I could make, but rather about how little I could work so that I could make ends meet. I was feeling very empowered at the time. Many people think about sex work as something that comes with human trafficking, and where you're really victimized and you're held by this abusive pimp or something like that. And it wasn't like that at all for me. I was actually really good friends with the people that were running my agency, because it was an agency that I worked under. And I quite liked the work. Like, it was exciting for me not to know what would be on the other side of the door when I would come out to an out call, which is called when you go and visit a client at their location. And it was just like, yeah, it was a time that I felt quite empowered. I was independent. I could do whatever I wanted and travel and buy the things I needed.
Yeah.
And but there was also a price later with that, because the first thing that I was told coming into that world was never tell a soul what you're doing. And I started creating this web of lies, because I thought that I can never own this to anyone. And I was pushing my family away at the time, because they would always be too nosy. In my mind, they would ask too many questions. So I just didn't really want to talk to them. And eventually I started to even get digestive issues. I started suffering a bit with my health. And what I think happened is that I was just kind of in a time in my life that I was so comfortable. And I could have easily stayed there, but on a subconscious level, my soul was like, wait a second, like, this is not going to last forever. This is not sustainable forever. This is something you can do right now, but what are you going to do when this is over? So I think that's, everything just happens for a reason in that regard. And I actually started having so many digestive issues that I started going to doctors trying to figure out what was going on. And eventually I was diagnosed with colitis. I started seeking, I went from doctor to doctor. And eventually they just said that, oh, you have something called unspecified colitis, which to me just means we don't know what's going on with you. But colitis is chronic inflammation of the large intestine, meaning I couldn't really digest any food I was having. I was constantly feeling uncomfortable and bloated. I had to just choose eventually to stop drinking alcohol, because it didn't work with my body anymore. And I became intolerant to all my favorite foods.
Oh my God.
So I had to really
this is not working, is what your body was saying.
Exactly.
Whatever we're doing here in this life literally is not working.
This is not working. My body was shutting down. So, and I started feeling like I'm gonna die if I continue like this, because I started losing so much weight. And it really felt like, if I can't keep my nutrients, how am I actually gonna sustain myself? So eventually I said to the doctors, because they just told me, this is chronic, you need to learn to live with this for the rest of your life. I said, I can't live like this. Nobody can live like this. And I said, okay, screw this. I'm out of here. I'm not gonna listen to you guys anymore. I'm gonna try to find my own way. So I went on a very deep detective journey to try to understand what is inflammation, what are foods that trigger inflammation, how can I try to like heal myself from this. I changed my diet, I changed my lifestyle, and I was also at a time that I had saved up quite some money in this moment.
Yeah.
So maybe not enough that it would be lasting for a long time in the future, but enough that I could take this break to really take care of myself.
Make the changes you need, yeah.
And in the meantime, I started working with a coach that helped me to actually look at what was a life vision that I wanted to create for myself, and what were action steps that I could take to move towards that vision. I started studying at a school to become a health coach, both to learn to heal myself and also. I started becoming very passionate at this point about nutrition, and also wanted to be able to help other people, because I was like, okay, if I can heal myself from this, then maybe I can help others eventually. So started doing all these changes, but there was still something that wasn't fully. I was getting better,
Yeah.
and I felt like I could manage my symptoms by controlling my diet.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So I believe that food is a great tool for our healing.
Of course.
But everything also has to do with energy, and that was like a point that was missing for me still. In 2018, I found myself in LA, and I decided to take a course there that is called Landmark, and they make you look at the different areas of your life that aren't working the way you want them to work.
Landmark.
Yeah, it's called the Landmark Forum.
I wonder if it. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. I was like, I wonder if I know them. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Really great program, actually.
Okay.
They make you look at different areas of your life that aren't working the way you want them to work.
I love that.
And in my first experience, it was getting complete with an abusive ex relationship that I had, where you also get to take yourself out of being the victim of your stories. So it's very much about really like owning how any experience that you have lived, whether you actually have been a victim of that experience or not, also recognizing that you have created a story about whatever that meant, and that is the story that is having you suffer. And how can you come back and actually own your own responsibility in what you are the creator of? So later I went into level 2, that was the advanced course of this experience, and they said that we all have this one story that we think that if I tell the world this, I'm never gonna be accepted. And immediately I started thinking, well, I have definitely got that story.
Yeah.
I have this story that I've been hiding for so long, and I've been pushing my family away. And maybe that's my story. And basically what they said was that if you could stop looking at yourself as just an individual, and you could start seeing yourself as a part of something bigger. So whether that is a group, whether that is a community, a city, a country, or even the world. Like, what would it look like if that one story that you think you're not going to be accepted for if you shared it, what if that's the story that is actually going to make a difference for other people? What if that's the one that will actually help other people heal and will help them recognize something in themselves? And I was like, wow, yeah, that is definitely, I have that story. And so in this training, I got to go up for the first time on stage and tell my story and be like, yes, I was an escort, I was a sex worker, and that was something I chose. It was something that I wasn't a victim of. It was something that I actually felt quite empowered in at the time. And it was exciting.
Yeah.
And maybe at that time, I wouldn't choose it in that very moment again.
Yeah.
But it was what I chose back then.
Yeah.
And just like owning that part of myself.
Yeah.
I think it was like one of those moments
Yeah.
that I, like I think of these like America's Next Idol or something like that when I see people go up on stage and I see them like how they sing for the first time, and it's the voice, right? So it's like they use their voice and they almost have a breakdown afterwards because like, wow, I feel so alive, you know?
Yeah.
And I had that feeling. I felt like after I shared my story in front of, it was about 50 people in the room at the time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I think I've never felt more alive in my life.
Oh my God.
But it wasn't even about me.
Yeah.
What was so beautiful was actually what happened next, which was, I had this beautiful woman wearing a veil that comes up to me and she tells me, hey, I'm Muslim and I'm not allowed to sleep with a lot of people in my culture.
Really?
But I have.
Yeah.
And I felt really good, but I can't tell anyone. And she said, but you telling your story here today, it just made me feel like I'm okay too.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
I was
God.
like, oh my God. And then I had this other beautiful woman that was older, and she came up to me and she said, hey, listen, I have done it too, and I've never told anyone.
Really?
And she's like, and I don't know if I will tell anyone else, but I just felt like I wanted to tell you.
Oh my gosh.
So I started seeing that, wow, we all have these little stories that, and it doesn't even have to have been anything that was the same story as mine. What I have recognized, because what this opened up for me was just like, wait a second, like, I think I need to do this more. I think that this is a part of something I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to talk about the things that I thought that we shouldn't talk about. And how am I going to do that? Well, okay, like, first of all, I think I need to tell my parents the truth, because my parents have been lying to all this time and I've been pushing them away, and it's time to, if I'm gonna do this, like, I'm never gonna be able to talk to them again if I don't tell them the truth first. So a part of this program was also to make very vulnerable phone calls. So I recognized that, okay, my phone call is to call my parents and tell them that this is actually the truth. This is what I have been up to all these times that I was telling you other stories. And it was so beautiful because I was like, okay, maybe I would never have told them in this lifetime if I wasn't choosing to come out so openly about this. But I'm so glad that I did, because I did sit and weigh with the thoughts, are they gonna disown me? Because that's a real thing. And not everyone might have, like, parents that will accept something like that. So I called my parents one by one, and I told them, and they answered almost exactly the same way. They said, we knew already. And I'm like, what? You knew? And I'm like, so I have been just living in this whole life for all this time for no reason?
Wow.
And they said, of course we understood that things weren't adding up. And yeah, we knew. And it was beautiful because they said that, yeah, we support you in what you want to do now. And even having my dad say that, he was like, you know what, honey, I'm proud of you.
I love that.
And I'm proud of that. You always found your own ways. Even if it wasn't necessarily the way that we would have wished for. You were always very independent in that way, and you found your own ways. And I think it's one of those moments, as as a little girl, I was always trying to get approved by my dad. And I think that was like the moment that I was just, wow, it was gonna take this for him to say that he's proud.
Wow.
But what was really magical after that
Yeah.
was that the digestive issues that I had been dealing with, now they actually started to really heal.
Oh, wow.
And how I take that is that I believe that anything that we have lived in life,
Yeah.
anything that we have chosen on a
Yeah.
conscious or subconscious level, I don't know, like how other people can resonate with this, but I believe that we have conscious choices that we make in life, and then we have subconscious choices that our spirit chose for us to have certain experiences. Those experiences might be very traumatic sometimes, but part of our journey is how we recovered from that, how we came back and reclaimed our power. So I recognized in myself that this is why, like, I had to go on this journey. I had to do all of these things so that I could come to this point, and now I can actually like share and help people through that space.
Yeah.
And a year later, I met a partner that I was very deeply in love with.
Okay.
And really thought that he's the one, and I'm gonna marry this person. And we were super in love and kind of lived this little fairy tale. But when things were getting really deep, intimacy, sexual intimacy wasn't working. And I was like, why is this happening now? I'm like here and I'm so in love and I'm with my partner, and why is this not working? And what I see is that for me to do the work that I did in sex work, even though I did feel good about it at the time and did feel empowered at the time, I was not recognizing with the consciousness I had back then, I was not aware of that my body in terms of being able to actually do that work. I had to shut down a certain part of myself. And by shutting that part down, now it was shut. And when I actually met a loving partner that I wanted to be with, I didn't really know how to open that part of myself again, because I was somehow still closed off. I didn't know how to fully surrender to the masculine, because I had always learned to protect myself from it. And so this was another journey in itself, where I couldn't really understand how to overcome this in the relationship that I was in. We didn't break up because of it, but we broke up for other reasons. And at the time that we did, that became a catalyst for me to start going deeper and trying to understand what's underneath.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love that you said that, because I kind of had a similar thing, just in just in a situation. So I think I told you before, when I first started dating, that part didn't work either. Like I wasn't getting any satisfaction from it at all, and I wasn't feeling anything either. It was just kind of blank. And I don't know about you, but for me, like, you go through the motions of the you know what I mean, but it doesn't, you literally don't really feel anything, and so it leaves something like disconnected. And that was an abusive relationship too, or it was a relationship where, it was a lot of arguing. And so, like, subconsciously, because I had to keep protecting myself from him in that moment, that shut down. Like, it just would not allow me to feel safe enough for that to work. And I felt the same. Well, the way I felt was like, first of all, I wanted to go on a journey too, to figure out why that wasn't working. And I was reading online, just like how you were reading about your colitis. It was like, oh yeah, 55% of women just don't have orgasms. They're just not allowed. They cannot. And I was like, hold on. I know God is not like a stupid ass, dumb ass bitch, because my body, like, I'm an athlete. I'm very healthy. I take care of my body. My body does whatever I tell it to do. And so it can't do this just because, like, God said, you know? I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm just a part of the 55%. And so I went on my own journey of trying to figure out how this works. And it's the same way. It's like, if you are feeling any kind of danger in the presence of the male, your body shuts off. Your body won't allow you to enjoy it. Even if, in like, just, anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
And something I want to emphasize with that is actually that danger can look in many different ways. So there can be danger in the sense of like a direct abusive person, but the feminine is like so intelligent in the sense of that we're always going to be checking if we are safe. And also danger can have to do with finances. Danger can have to do with just not feeling this like strong masculine energy presence. And presence is actually one of the main things when it comes to masculinity. If he's not present with you, you're also not going to feel safe. So feeling unsafe, sometimes a man might feel very triggered when you tell him that you don't feel safe with him, because it's like, wait, like, I'm good to you. I'm a good boyfriend. I've never done anything bad to you. And that was really like the last relationship that I had. He was very good to me in many ways. But I realized later that there were pieces in the dynamic, in the polarity between us, where he was a little bit younger than me and he was still figuring some things out in his journey, as we both were. But I think that I would often be on top of him, like, hey, did you do this? And did you? And I was almost becoming like the mom instead of becoming the lover, because there were parts of me that weren't really trusting his masculine leadership. Because when we look at divine polarity, when you feel that you can trust the leadership of the masculine, that's when we will fully, as the feminine, open and surrender. And I was completely unaware of those pieces. I didn't understand that that's even how it works at the time. I had no idea how can we even work with this, because I didn't know that was a thing. Okay. So how did I understand like these different polarities then? After the breakup that I had, I went to study in a mystery school. And this mystery school is about sacred sexuality, tantra, Taoism, and it's a lot about like how to actually like be responsible for your emotions and how to do different emotional release processes to move energy. Because the thing is that many times in life, when something happens that we haven't quite accepted, digested, been okay with, that's how we get digestive issues. It's like when we haven't digested an experience many times. So we would learn how we could actually move energy that had been trapped in the body through different methods. But something that we were also learning in this training was how to ask for consent, how to set boundaries. I was someone that had never really been good at setting boundaries in life. I was a total people pleaser. And I always had this fear that I was going to seem rude or that people were going to feel bad because I was setting boundaries with them. Instead of looking after, like, well, how did I feel? I would even be in a way when I was younger that if a man tried to kiss me, I would just like go along with it because I kind of felt like otherwise he would feel bad to be rejected. Instead of me looking at, well, how did I feel about kissing this person I didn't want to kiss?
And all that goes into like...
But what I started learning in this process too was with consent. How many times had I let someone into my body that my body, even though I was consenting, my body had not consented to that. And something I learned as well was that my yoni, as well as the men's, like to call it lingam, is from the Sanskrit, but pussy, cock.
Which I hate those words, by the way. I
Yeah.
hate those words. Yeah.
No, I like yoni and lingam. So my yoni, she likes to be asked for consent. So recognizing that she actually has her own consciousness, and before anyone gets to enter me, they have to ask. And I have to check in with her. It's not me verbally saying, but it's like, hey, like I need to feel this. So I need to actually take a breath and feel into her and be like, are you ready?
Like, do you want
and if I don't get a yes, then we have to wait. And when I started to honor that, and when I started to practice doing that, it completely changed something in my sensuality, sexuality. Because one thing that wasn't working in my relationship was that I would suffer from painful sex. So it was almost like I was like kind of cramped up, and it was like, hey, like I'm not open, you know. So I realized that to open, there needs to be that consent. It's like you ask to enter the temple.
But I want to say before that, because these are my beliefs now. Well, this is what I've discovered now. I think outside of male and female relationships, your sexuality is yours first.
Absolutely.
And so in my journey where I was like, okay, why is it not working with this person? Because, usually traditionally, when we first start having sexual experiences, we're having it with someone else.
Right.
And so for me, because I hadn't had it with myself first, she was already like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? She was like, wait a minute, and then whoever this person is literally is not even making us safe anyway, so hold the fuck up, And for me, my journey to figuring out why mine didn't work and why I was a part of the 55%, was like, wait a minute, I need to go and figure this out for myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
This has nothing to do with him, first of all. Like,
no, absolutely
not. It has nothing to do with him, first of all.
No.
I found that I went on this journey of like finding my sexual pleasure. And I was just like reading books about female orgasm. I was like searching the internet to like find different teachers and And for me, I had some friends who were also in the sex industry. So a friend of mine took me to a adult, what's it called? Like adult sex expo or something like that at the convention center. So I went. And there's like the strippers and the porn stars and like sex toys and this and that. And my friend, she asked me if I had a vibrator, and I said no, I don't have one. And so she's like, you need one. She's like, you need one, let's get one now. So I was like, okay. And I was curious because I was like, I'm having sex at home and it literally is not working. And when I realized mine wasn't working out, I said to myself, this can't be the thing I'm involved in that's going to give me babies. Like, this can't be the thing that I have to do that's going to give me my family. This can't be the thing that I have to do with my husband for the rest of my life, and the shit doesn't work. Like, absolutely not, I'm not living my life like that. Not being able to enjoy sex and also feeling like my private parts don't work. I did not like that. Because I know my body does.
Yeah.
Right? So I was very, very curious when she was like, we have to get you a vibrator. No, you have to. So I was like, okay. So she bought me my first vibrator. And it was like a big,
Was it a rabbit? Or?
No, it had a rabbit with it. Like, it had like a little rabbit that came with it.
Yeah.
But then, like the big pink ones that had like big old neck and like, I had one of those. And then it came with like a little rabbit that was just like a little. I was like, okay. But I was still a little bit nervous about it. So I kept it in my car, like under my seat for like literally a month. And then one time I was in the moment with my boyfriend, and we were doing the whole foreplay thing, and I had feelings at that time, like the tingly feelings, and yeah, I'm ready for this and all of that stuff. I'm ready for it. Yeah, 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 yeah. But then as soon as we would start doing it, all those feelings would go away, and it would just be nothing. And I remember we were like in the moment and like getting ready and doing that whole kissing thing and just like foreplay thing. And we didn't have a condom. So he's like, wait, I have to go to the store and get a condom. Stay there. So I'm like, okay. And I'm sitting at home and I'm having these feelings, like these ready for sex feelings, right? But I was like, I don't want, this feels so good. I don't want him to ruin it. Like, I just was not in the mood that time. So I was like, maybe this might be a good time to try my vibrator. So the big one though, like this whole thing, that was too much at the time. So I was like, let me try the little rabbit. So I tried the rabbit and I put it there on my clit, and like I felt something. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this? And then like I turned it up because I've never done this before. So I turned it up and it was like zzz, and I had this big orgasm explosion, like squirting and everything. Wow. Right? And I was like, oh, this is what our body does. This is what our body does. It was like I couldn't even describe what was going. My first orgasm, when I felt it and the sensation of it, and then I had the realization that no, my body actually does work, and it works even better than I even imagined. I was like, oh no, we're on here. Like this is, oh, that's all I needed to know, Yeah. And so I went on my journey every day of like using my vibrator and breathing through it and feeling like, okay, is this part sensitive? Is this part the sensitive part? And then if I breathe like this, then how is it? And just, I really, within the relationship, silently. It was a side quest for me. Wow. But I was just like really having a moment, like getting in touch with my Yoni outside of him, because there was just nothing I can do with that. And I realized, like most of us, it's just because we haven't connected with ourselves first. Right. We haven't decided first before anybody ever came here, before any like man had an experience with had access to our sexual experience. We didn't give ourselves access. Right. And I feel like the most important thing is you owning literally your sexual experience for yourself. Absolutely. Before any man comes into the experience. Before that, so go ahead, sorry.
No, thank you so much for bringing that.
Yeah, because so I think what's important, like, to get back.
Yes. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And this was also a big part of the journey. I think I got into all the stories here, and then I was like, you know what, when you said this,
it's okay.
I was like, this was like one of the biggest pieces. Because also in the training that I did, there was a part that they gave us homework, and they said, every day you have to go home and self-pleasure. And then there was also a piece where we got to self-pleasure kind of as a ritual. And when I was in this ritual, the only thing I felt was just pain. Like even when I touched myself, I was in pain. I was not feeling pleasure. And it made me feel so sad because I felt like I'm broken. Like other people are enjoying this and I'm not. I'm just broken. And it got me to a point that I got so wired up about it that I almost had a panic attack. Like I started crying so heavily and I just couldn't stop.
It hurts,
And after that, I was told to continue practicing self-pleasure, practicing just being with myself, even if it was just like the ritual of like feeling my body and not focusing so much on that I needed to just like get myself off, because it's not about that. And so for me, it was like a really big change to like take that pressure off of that something has to happen and just start feeling my body like, oh, well, like, what does it feel like when I just feel myself? And what does it feel like when, oh, here's sensitive, you know? And like recognizing that there were so many parts of my body that were sensitive, that were not even about my genitals or my breasts. And sometimes I would even feel like I didn't want to go to those places too fast. Like it would be so hot. Like I could get so turned on just by touching myself, like on my sides of my hips or like, you know, and just discovering these little nooks and places within myself. So it was just, as you say, this journey of self-discovery of what is pleasure to me. And then when coming like to my genitals, coming to those areas, like how do I like to be touched? And what if, because for a long time I was only relying on my pleasure from men. And so I really loved that you pointed back towards this, because that is really the key, is that no man has the key or is in charge of our pleasure. Like we are in charge of our own pleasure, and as a woman, like we can work ourselves up to become more sensitive and orgasmic when we are in touch with our bodies, when we are in tune with what our body is, not just our mind, but our body is consenting to. And that starts with ourselves. Like it starts with even asking for consent. Don't put our own fingers in there even without asking for consent. Like how many times is it that, you know, we'll be on our period and we'll just shove a tampon in there. And it's usually, you're always like in a rush and you go in and you want to get that done quickly. And there is nothing consensual about that.
And she doesn't even like that.
No.
She doesn't like that.
So really being mindful of even those little actions is something that makes a huge difference. And just like being in touch, like if something doesn't feel right, like taking a moment, placing your hands there and just being like, hey, like what's up? How can I be more present with you? You know, what do you need? And I understand that for some women might really connect with what I'm saying right now, and some women might be like, what is she talking about? Like, where am I gonna get the answer from? You know? The truth is that all of us women, we have a very innate intuition, and it's a question of whether we have tapped into it or not, but we all have it. And when we connect to our womb, when we connect to our yoni, it holds so much wisdom. It has its own voice, literally. However, it cannot speak. We have to speak for it. So when she's not ready, like we need to set boundaries. So if we are, first of all, basically we're with ourselves, we can just be like, okay, I'm not going to do that right now. But when we are in romantic relationships or just in sexual connection, like owning that voice, listening to that voice and speaking up and saying, hey, like, this is what I'm feeling right now. That was one of the things that also came through in a ritual that I did in this mystery school, where literally I could like hear the anger from my yoni, and that's why she had been in all this pain, because she was like, hey, I have not been ready for that. You're not listening to me. You're overrunning my boundaries, and I don't have a voice. You need to speak for me. And it's not a coincidence that the throat, if you look at like what the throat looks like from the inside and the yoni, they look so similar. So it's like literally this like channel of voice that we have, you know, like when we connect.
Wow. Yes. It's, oh my gosh,
So there is a deep innate wisdom. There is so much that comes more than just the pleasure when we really connect to our yonis. But I really believe that like what really made the difference was when I started connecting with that kind of consent, first within myself and then with partners. It shifted, because all of a sudden I would see, because many times also when we're gonna have sex with someone, it's like this thing that you just like, okay, I'm wet, I'm feeling hot, and we're just gonna shove it in there, you know. But actually, how she likes to be approached, and this is not unique for me. This is like, you know, something that I think all of us women can like. We haven't been taught this, and I wish we were, because that's why many of us are suffering. And she likes to be approached with consent, and then like when the man puts his cock there at the opening, like just leaving the tip there, no pushing in, just because she will actually, her muscles will suck him in. And so allowing it to be that slow and that consensual, that little by little she will start feeding him in. And when we do that, there's like a whole other level of connection that happens between the lingam and the yoni, which makes the yoni become so much more orgasmic as well. So, I mean, there are so many different layers to all of this. But I really believe that, and because I was someone that had broken my own consent so many times, like when I started shifting these things, I was just like, wow, there's a whole other world here. And when I started coming into this, I recently had an experience. Actually, I was traveling about a week ago, and I was almost like starting to get a little rushed. I needed to go soon to the airport. And I hadn't been in sexual intimacy for a long time. And I was just like, and not with myself either. And I was just getting this like inner voice that was like, hey, like, you need to have sex with yourself.
Yes, I feel the same way.
And I was like, right now? Like, but I need to go to the airport.
No, and sometimes
and
it's
like,
no, you need,
you need to have sex with yourself
right
now.
Yeah.
Like, but I just got dressed.
Like,
take your pants off again. And I was like on my living room floor. And I think I have never, because I was really just like following that inner guidance, that voice. And I've never felt so in touch with myself. And I was just like feeling myself and touching myself. And it was like, it was a whole other level. Like I have never had that kind of deep orgasmic experience as I had, like just coming over and over. And I was like, just kind of like feeling this like grasping, laughing, like, what just happened? What just happened? Did I just screw myself better than any man has? I can do that?
It's like, oh my gosh.
And I was like, wow. I have this with myself.
It's the best thing.
And even though I have today explored a lot of self-pleasure, the level that we got to last week, that was a whole other level.
That's so cool.
And that was really like, oh, hey,
right? That's so real. Okay, I love that. So, you know what I'm so interested in? Your sexual rituals. Like, because I have my own rituals. And like you said, I know when I need to have sex with myself. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's an all day thing. Like, hey, you're trying to work. But not today. And it's like she will not go away until you just like keep getting in touch. It's like kind of very interesting. And like she yells and everything. It's kind of crazy.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I want you to tell me a ritual that will help just the initial getting in touch, getting back in touch, you know? Like, how do you go about, opening up that relationship with your womb in your yoni, and how do you go about getting super super intimate and connected with her if you haven't been connected in a long time?
Right. So, first of all, like set up a ritual space.
Okay.
Like when we're gonna make love to ourselves, it's just as important to like romanticize ourselves as it is to like when we do it with a partner. So, just like make it cozy in your bedroom, light some candles, put on some music that is gonna make you feel sensual. I usually like these kind of like whiskey blues kind of that's something that really makes me feel sensual. But whatever works for you. And yeah, then just like start by just like feeling the body as a whole. Like I like to just like, and you can use like a body friendly oil.
But are you on the bed? Are you on the floor?
I like being on the bed.
So I do mine in the bathtub. So does it, well, I don't have to ask you, does it matter? But like,
it doesn't matter where you do it, like as long as it's a space that you're gonna feel comfortable in. So I can tell you that my self-pleasure ritual, that was my best self-fuck of my life, happened on the floor. It was on the carpet, on the living room floor. That's what felt right in that moment. So and sometimes when we get wild in our sexuality, it's not always on the bed. Many people have the fantasy of getting done on the washing machine or all these things. You can do that with yourself too. So I think like the most important thing is like that it's a space where you're gonna feel turned on, where you're gonna feel, and like why I'm saying this is like why I start maybe with the bed is just because when you are in the space of that you're not feeling so connected to your sensuality, maybe you want to be somewhere that is really comfortable and to start with, just so that you can really like just like be in this coziness and feel yourself and just feel like, ooh, like what feels good and discovery. Because a first self-pleasure ritual for me is like usually more about discovery and really like understanding like your body. And I like to visualize my right hand as my masculine and my left hand as my feminine.
I do the same. My left is my masculine and my right is my feminine.
Well, so
that was wrong. Go ahead.
So in our energetic body, like our right is masculine and our left is feminine, energy wise. So that's why I do it like that. But it doesn't matter. The most important thing is just like, I like to feel into that and also feel into like, if I was a man right now, how would I touch myself? And what does it feel like if I tap into the masculine energy in myself? And then it's like, well, if I was with my feminine side, like, how does she touch? Like, how does she connect? And just really feeling those two energies. And I feel that when I go into a journey with that, with music, it's almost like it starts this kind of journey of seduction between the two sides, where I'm like, oh, now my masculine is touching my neck here. It feels so good. And oh, now my feminine is touching here. And just like having that play happen. And then I like to just like feel the body, explore, and eventually I will get to like more intimate areas. I like to leave the more intimate areas out to start, just so that I can really activate my whole body. And because the thing is that those sensitive areas, we're so used to always going straight on, like they're buttons, and like what else can be sensual, what else feels good. Because when I open up my whole body, I'm also opening the energetic flow in my body, so that once I start pleasuring the sensitive areas, more pleasure can actually flow through bigger areas of my entire body. So, and then I might start with a breast massage. I like just like circling my hands around and feeling like just kind of, I do it in a way that I move energy outwards first. So I will kind of circle my hands up and out and kind of remove anything that has been like heavy on my heart lately.
Yeah.
And after that, I do inward circles and I start focusing on like, what do I want to like fill my heart with? Like, so I want to feel more love right now, more self-love, more self-acceptance, more just alignment with that. My heart is allowing me, is guiding me on my path, and you know, feeling those different affirmations. Just you can tell yourself affirmations too, just like I am in charge of my desires. I am in charge of my journey. And, you know, like just really like, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm powerful. Telling yourself all these things, you know, as you massage that into your heart. And then you can start to like activate a little bit of the nipples. Ooh,
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it's just like powerful to have that connection with that, because our breasts are directly connected to our heart. So, and then we can move down and start moving more towards lower belly, more intimate. And once we come down to the yoni, even placing our hand there for a moment and just feeling her. Instead of just like, it's not about what I have to do right now, but actually feeling, how do you want me to move? And even allowing yourself to like, because what I realized lately was that when I allow for that energy to almost move me, instead of me starting to move how I think is gonna give me pleasure, there is like a whole other intuitive level that almost takes over. And it's not quite how I would touch myself if I go from just routine or the mind. It's a little bit slower, but it touches on a deeper level, and somehow she follows more with that touch. So there's also like another thing that I've discovered. And yeah, I work first on the outside and feel that, and maybe sometimes I will start by even stimulating the clit a bit if I want to, if that feels right. It's almost like I'm just gonna ritualistically connect more with myself in this moment and bring back more sensitivity, wake up the parts of my body that have been a bit dormant.
I love that, because when people say that, when they say, you know, the more you use your vibrator, the more you'll lose sensitivity. But oh my gosh, yes. It's not about going straight to the clit. I never just go straight at all, usually. It's the areas around that it's like she feeds into that are like the sensitive areas that will like build it up. I don't ever just sit there and go, because like, no, that's not what she likes.
Right.
You know, and she's like bigger than, it's like she's a whole vein of like,
she has this whole network of nerve endings that go out, and like when we recognize that.
And it's like, then she starts building up, and then it's like this explosion in the middle.
And the explosion is much bigger.
It's a much bigger, it's much bigger and longer as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I would say like, I love the use of a vibrator. And I've been using my vibrator for almost every day since then.
Wow.
When I first used it and had that and that was a strong 2007. So over time, I've never gotten like desensitized because I never used her at all.
I would recommend, especially when you do your first self-pleasure practice, you don't even need to work so much with clitoral stimulation in that moment. Wait with that, or you know, brush her softly, slowly.
Brush again.
And not, you know, so forcefully. And like almost like you're stroking a kitty, like, but stroking her with this downward motion, you know. It can be really, really pleasant when we just tap into that. And then if you feel that you want to enter fingers on that day, then like ask consent.
Ask consent.
Ask
yeah.
consent. Am I ready for fingers? Like really feel into that. Am I ready for fingers, or do I think I'm ready for fingers, but do I feel I'm ready for fingers?
Yeah. Do I need fingers?
Put the fingers there
Yeah.
at the opening, just as you would with a cock, and be like, hey, like, are you ready for me? May I enter my fingers here? And just feel in. Like for me, it kind of comes with this like subtle nod, and I know that that's maybe not for everyone, but however, like it doesn't need to be a specific. You will feel in your intuition.
Yeah.
Does it feel like yes, no? And as you work with this like is something that you will work up more and more when you start connecting intentionally with your yoni in this kind of way. Your intuition starts to open as well more and more. So just be patient with that. I would like to say to anyone that is listening to this, because this is not an overnight thing. This is really a journey of like conscious, intentional, setting time apart, that you're just like, now I'm just gonna do this for a bit. And sometimes that means when we're in our feminine flow, as you said, sometimes it might be like, hey, I thought I was gonna work right now. And it's just like, no, you're gonna do this.
You're gonna do this.
But yeah, ask yourself for consent before putting the fingers in. And when putting the fingers in, also again, like just feel in there, like just feel yourself and allow yourself to like almost be moved by her, instead of like having to do so much to her. It's almost like you will start connecting in a way that your body will start moving itself. It almost feels like.
It's like she'll ready herself for the orgasm that's coming, instead of it's like, make this happen, make this happen, make this happen. She's like, first of all, you're doing too much.
Yes, exactly.
And it's she definitely has to guide. And I'll say also, because in this practice too, I realized how smart she is. Like you said, she has her own consciousness. It's so real. So for instance, I've been in Mexico City for about 6 months, and I didn't bring my vibrator because I felt that while I was here, I just needed to reconnect to different parts of me. And so I was like, fine, for however long you're there, don't use a vibrator. And to make sure I didn't use her, I threw both of them away. And I really just focused on me, throughout my journey here. I didn't know I was going to be here this long. I thought only like a couple of months, but this whole time I have not self-pleasured at all. I did a lot of just other types of rewiring. So now I'm in a space where I want to start self-pleasuring again. So I got another vibrator, and I realized that we were disconnected, because what was happening before and what was feeling good before wasn't feeling good again. It wasn't feeling good. And there's a lot of parts that she was dormant because I told us we're not doing this for a while, So I'd say for the past like week, not as consistently as I used to, but for the past probably 2 weeks, I have been like trying to reconnect again and see what she likes now. And she's not as sensitive as she used to be, because like I said, we turned her off. So I'm like, I'm having to do these rituals to like reawaken her and let her know that I really want to reconnect again, and we can start like working together again, you know what I mean? And I started to get a little bit not frustrated. That's not the word. I started to get a little kind of nervous, because I was like, wait a minute, did I abandon you a little too long? We didn't lose, like, did we really lose it? No, but I realized like she likes patience and time, and just because I'm ready doesn't mean she's ready, you know what I mean? And so I felt like in this moment right now, I'm just re-engaging and renegotiating my relationship with my womb. And it's like, when you start this work, it takes time. And that's okay. It takes time. It might take 2 or 3 weeks to really like reacclimate yourself and reintroduce yourself to yourself. So anyway,
thank you for bringing that though, because I really love that.
You're welcome. Did we get done with the ritual moment? Are we done with it or not?
So the only thing that I would
go
really
ahead.
add is
Yeah,
like,
go ahead, continue.
you know, like to just be in the space of like that nothing needs to happen.
I love
like this is not a journey that comes to with like an end goal.
Yeah.
And many times as women, like we have this pressure in sexuality that there has to, like, did you come? Was there an end goal? You know, like, did you reach? And because the men will most often certainly reach that goal if that's the destination.
Yeah.
However, like us women, we have the potentiality to be super multi-orgasmic and can reach so many times. If we are just open to that, but also being really patient with ourselves, and especially in the beginning, and not coming with the intention that I'm gonna get myself up, like just coming with the intention that I'm gonna feel myself. I'm gonna feel myself, and whatever that means today, that's what self-pleasure is today. So self-pleasure is not, you know, a successful self-pleasure if you had an orgasm, and an unsuccessful self-pleasure if you didn't. And I really want to emphasize that self-pleasure is really just being in any kind of pleasure with yourself, with your body. And even if that means that I was like tickling myself under the armpits for most of the part, that maybe that was my self-pleasure that day. And so really just coming through with that, because that's something that has been conditioned on us. It's not something that is the truth of self-pleasure. And then some days you might just like come on a proper journey of like orgasming over and over and over again, and that's great too. But whatever it is that day, just like being with what is, and being okay with what is, like in that acceptance, because actually when we become, how we become more orgasmic is actually when we surrender. So it's like when we stop chasing it, when we stop tensing up and trying to make something happen, that's when it usually it comes from the back end instead, where it's just like now she starts activating, the muscles start working by themselves, and that's when we really get these explosive orgasms. It's when we're not trying at all, when we actually let go. And of course, it's easier said than done. I know that from experience, that it's easy to say, oh, just let go. No, it's not easy to always let go.
It's a process.
It's a process. And we let go when we trust. So if you haven't been with yourself for a long time or ever, do you think that your body is really trusting you? Like, you need to build that intimacy and that trust to get to that point. So this is also another thing, that we do self-pleasure to self-connect, and that's why I loved what you said about that. You're like, hey, like I'm back. We're doing this now. And it's like any relationship that we have externally, where, and actually the grandest relationship, because this is the one that is actually going to define how those other relationships will mirror back to us. So when we really anchor in this relationship, and but what I mean by with any relationship that we have externally is that if we have abandoned an external relationship, well, we can probably bet ourselves that that person is not going to feel super present with us, because we haven't been present with them. They're not going to feel safe. They're not going to feel like, oh, hey, I want to hang out with you right now, or I feel so excited by you, if we have abandoned it. So when we have abandoned something, well, we need to repair first. So what does the repair look like? It looks like consistency. And it looks like presence. So it's like, hey, I'm back, and I'm gonna start showing to you that I'm gonna show up now. I'm not just gonna do it once, but I'm actually gonna start showing up, because that's what it means to build a relationship. You know, we're not into one-night stands here.
We like it all the time.
It's like we want depth. We want something meaningful here. So come come with that energy.
Commit to me. It's perfect. Something that I kind of glazed over. Side note, I don't like to really discuss like male and female dynamics that much because I feel like with anything, everything starts with yourself.
Absolutely,
Everything starts with the
absolutely.
relationship with yourself. And exactly what you said, everybody's outside relationships are a reflection of your inside relationship.
Absolutely.
And I think with a lot of people right now, their inside relationships are fucked up. So that's why everyone's outside relationships with each other are fucked up.
Right.
So I don't like to really go into the male and female thing because that is a whole nother thing. I just feel like, this is what I feel. I feel like we talk about sexuality too much and too early to understand what it is or to even engage in it. And I've always felt I was very protective over my sexuality in my personal life. In my like professional life, I could pose nude, I don't care.
Yeah.
But like I always was very protective of my personal sexuality, and I didn't have my first sexual experience until I was 19. And so I feel that, and on top of that, there's literally no person on this planet that can say that they forced me to have sex with them or made me feel uncomfortable or coerced me at all. There's nobody, because I've always been very, very vocal about yes, the yes and the no for me with that. And I feel like before, just as girls, before we get into these sexual experiences, we need to make sure that we can protect it for ourselves and be able to say no loudly, you know. Absolutely. Really, before we start having sex and opening our energy up to that, like really make sure that you're connected, your throat chakra is connected to your yoni, to where if you're in a coercive situation, you're not feeling bad or I just have to let him do it, or you know what I mean? And then you just give in, and then that's when your body starts shutting off because she's like, girl, you're not listening to me at all. You know, and the idea that we have to feel like we have to just give it up because somebody wants it, because they're coercing us, or however men act to where they think that we are just holes with legs, and so they want to like start running trains and shit. It's like in any situation, I hope I'm not sounding too insensitive.
No.
Okay, I'm saying in any situation, like for women, we need to be able to stand strong in our no and get our minds off the idea that we kind of have to give it, and it really saying, no, it's ours first, and you have to be invited into my sexual experience.
Yeah.
You know, I have to invite you into my sexual experience, and if it's a no, it's a no. And you are so lucky, you are so blessed that I might even be considering. And it's not something that like we both own and we both have to share, and like we both have to like be considerate of each other. No, it's literally just, it's you, and will you allow somebody in your sexual experience? And people have to be invited.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
and imagine if kids were taught these kind of things in school already.
Yeah.
Because that's something I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah.
Like while I've been training in these kind of curriculums, while I have been learning to, at this adult age, speak my consent. Like you know, like speak my boundaries.
From a real ownership level.
But what would it have looked like if that was already part of sex education in school curriculums?
Because sex education is just about babies. That's what they say. You know, have sex and have babies. So that's what makes it seem
how to not have babies.
Yes. And so when you think of it like that, it makes it seem like this is a joint process. You know, we have to come together to make the baby. And it's not about, sex is not all about making babies. Like as human beings, that's our sexual experience is a connection. It's not, we can do this without babies. We have to do this without babies. So it's like when you take it out of that context and say, okay, sexual pleasure and sexual connection is for yourself, then it becomes less of, I can't say that. Then you're able to actually stand up for yourself, because you have ownership, just like you won't let somebody just break your arm.
Right.
You're like, okay, you want to, okay, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, this is the most important thing to us.
Exactly.
And for us to not feel like the deep ownership and the deep protection over it, like we would not let somebody just break our arm.
I think that's something that comes to mind immediately when you say this. It's just like, I don't think I was ever taught as a child how valuable this is. You know? Like how it's almost like that feeling that really comes alive when you're saying these things. Where I was like, wow, like there was no teaching about the value of this.
No.
And you know how easy that could just be like used or so yeah, it's really, it's something that I will even go home today and think about from this conversation. It's like the value of that is very high, you know, and it's something that we were never taught. And I mean, in some families, yes, and in some religions, yes.
But for the most part, no. For the most part, ours should be just given away. And the most important thing on our bodies should literally just be submitted and given away. Yeah. It's the most important thing in this world.
Yeah.
And we are so fortunate, I believe, and so blessed as women to have this, you know, that we literally need to be the keepers and the guardians of it and have really strict boundaries on who gets to enjoy it, because everybody does not get to enjoy it.
No,
you don't. And if you don't, it's not my problem. If you do, how lucky you are. Absolutely. So closing out, I want us to really consider the time and conditions in which we will invite people into our sexual experience now that we have complete control and ownership and protection of it, and it's in a place where it's completely connected to us.
Yeah.
What are some boundaries that you have right now in your relationships where you would say, I will only invite a person into my sexual experience if
he's devoted to my heart? That was something that came very strong through for me, and also in a ritual that I was participating in a training. I feel like every training that I've done has given me different kind of messages and downloads that I feel that the body, it really has this inner oracle and voice that will tell us what it needs in every moment. And even when we get sick, it's actually just the body guiding us to listen to something, to look at something that we haven't looked at. And what I started recognizing was, like I had this ritual where my body just told me very clearly that I don't want anyone in here who is not devoted to your heart. And it's become way more time in between the times that I do connect with someone. But when I do, it tends to get very deep, and that's when I also see like that's when my body is really open. And I've had times that I've kind of like, you know, like gone against it. And then I was like, oh no, we didn't like that, you know? And I would actually have to come back and sit with myself and be like, hey, I'm sorry. I know what you said. I recognize that I was not listening today. And now I'm actually like not feeling so good. And I'm recommitting to that. I'm going to listen to what you said. Everybody might have a different voice telling them different things. So I'm not saying that what is mine is yours or anybody else's. But that's what my body told me at this time in my life. And I'm seeing that when I don't listen, there are consequences.
Yeah.
And when I do, there is this like beautiful amount of pleasure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that rush that we have been taught about connection and like how, you know, in the past I could sometimes just meet someone in the same night and feel like we had this otherworldly connection.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's like, even if I would feel that, it's like, okay, but prove yourself to me.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just gonna get to smother with me with beautiful words and get to know me for a few days. And like, now I actually need you to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, the times that I've been fooled, or that I recognize that I go against myself in what I promise myself, because it's never about the men even. It's it's always about me and about where I don't listen to myself.
Mine are, well, a big thing for me is he has to love himself, and I have to see it. He has to show it.
Yes.
He has to love himself, and loving himself is with his lifestyle, with his health choices, with his relationship with people around him. Like, because there's a difference between a person who loves themselves and a person who's just trying to escape into other people, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how that showed up for me, or how did I recognize that, was I was intimate with this guy, and he was going through this really hard time, and he was having these like identity issues and trying to figure himself out, and like, but he didn't want to, like, it was this whole like internal conflict that he was going on, you know, and it wasn't even like self-love at all. It was just like, how do I fight myself to keep doing this bad shit, you know? He was unhealthy in his ways. And I remember we were intimate, and then the next day I felt so sad, like a deep sadness. And I'm not a sad person, but I felt this deep, deep sadness, like hopelessness. And it took me 3 days to try to like work through that sadness and get all of that out, because it literally was not mine. And I felt it, because like I said, it felt like a helplessness and a hopelessness, and like I felt like I was alone in this world, and I was confused, and it was all these like really deep, horrible emotions that I had in my body from being with this guy. And after that, I said absolutely not, because I know that after he was with me, he felt so much better.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, because the masculine releases and you
totally
absorb.
And I said, hold the fuck.
Yeah.
You didn't just do all this. You know what I mean? You went on and you feel like me now. And I feel like you. Absolutely not, absolutely not. No. That made me so mad. But after I got through with the sadness, it made me so mad. And I was just like, absolutely not, because I know how much I love myself. I know how I take care of myself. I know how I try to evolve, and I know how I try to treat people good. And I know the level of like, I know the level of energy I want to be at that makes me work. And I know I like to be happy. So like, I can't allow anybody, I feel good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel good.
Yeah.
So I do not allow anybody in my sexual experience that hates themselves and doesn't feel good, and you can see it all in their life.
Absolutely.
Those people don't deserve to be with me, you know? So
I had like 8 months of like kind of like a celibacy period where I just decided, okay, I'm gonna take this time to
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, to reconnect with my body.
Yeah.
It was actually not even coming from such a conscious place. It was, I thought I was gonna do 1 month, one period cycle, and just when I committed to that, my period disappeared. And somehow intuitively I knew that my body's telling me that I'm supposed to cleanse a little longer. We've been dirty.
We gotta cleanse a little bit more, girl. That's funny.
And the thing was that the longer I stayed in abstinence, the more sacred it became.
Totally.
Because when I was just consuming, I wasn't really in touch with that energy. So I was just like, oh, another one, that's fine. But when I stopped and when I took a break and when I started to just like be in this more stillness, it was during that period that I was with colitis and detoxing my body. So there were so many more levels. I stopped drinking alcohol. And I even started recognizing that as soon as I stopped drinking alcohol, I wasn't attracted to anyone. And I was like, was I literally just attracted to all these people because I was drunk? And so it was really this like, yeah, there was a lot of things that came with that.
Yeah.
But after that period, like now it was sacred. Now it's like, now I can't just like give it to just anyone.
Yeah.
Now I wanted it to be more special.
Yeah. Not in a purity sense. This is not purity culture. It's just in a like goddess sense. You know, because of what you have.
Of course.
And because of the power that we have with it. And I believe that having a womb, our womb knows dimensions into the earth, into people,
Absolutely.
into nature, into how things need to go.
Yeah.
And I feel like as women, when we literally just harness that sexual energy, that intimacy energy for ourselves, we can literally, and then we start demanding certain things, and I'll say that, and we start demanding certain things out of the people that we allow into our sexual energy, I think it would change the way we interact with each other.
Absolutely.
On this earth. So thank you so much for sharing your story and giving us a new point of view and humanizing this, humanizing everything. I feel, you know what I mean? I feel like we live in a world where it's like everything is like these checks and balances and checks. And it's like, no. There's nuance to everything. So thank you for sharing us your nuance to this journey in life. I mean, who do you help?
So I help individuals that want to learn to feel more. So I do something that is called shamanic bodywork, which is a in-person practice that will help to remove emotional blockages in the body. And we can also even go in and do, with women, I do something called Yoni mapping, where we even do emotional release points inside of the yoni, because many times as a woman, when we have held different emotions that or when we have had our consents broken by ourselves or by others, we store these experiences, emotions. So by coming back to actually feel what is stored there, we move that energy and we release it. So this is one thing I do. I do this kind of work both with men and women. I also work with couples that want to deepen intimacy in their relationships. So these are also sessions where I will teach them different tantric tools. I do online coaching for couples as well that want to deepen their relationship and intimacy, work on the intimacy in their relationship, even if they're not in the same country as where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah. And they will reach you how?
By Instagram.
Okay. And what's your Instagram?
Emilia Lioness.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
I really enjoyed having you. I always love your stories. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Me too. Yeah, I know. So thank you for tuning in to the Velvet Room. We loved having you, and I hope you thought that this was a vibe just like we thought as well. And we'll see you in the next episode.